Okay, one more time. It's pretty simple. The ATS and the CTS are gone. Now we have the CT4 and the CT5. And everyone compares the CT5 to the 3 Series because it matches in engine and price, even though the dimensions are actually closer to a 5 Series. But the CT4, even in CT4 V form, which isn't really a V, only comes in 4 cylinders. The CT5 in V form comes with 6 cylinders like the M340i. But the V form isn't like the Vs of old, like the Blackwing we did recently.
Blackwing.
Yeah, Blackwing. There might be a Blackwing coming in. It's been teased a bit, but we don't know about that for certain. This comes in a 6-cylinder like the M340i and the C43, and for that reason, it's compared in price and engine, and that's why this comparison makes sense. Do you understand that now?
No.
The CT5. This is Cadillac's latest and greatest, and today we have it in sport trim. And just to make it more confusing, you can get a V6 in a CT5 that's not a V, that's already not a real V. Got it? Good. But the sport trim here gets Brembos, paddle shifters, epic seats, and some sport visual upgrades. And a big thanks to Wallace Chevrolet in Milton for hooking us up with this CT5. We have high hopes for this car, and what better way to measure it than by driving it next to the yardstick that is the BMW 3 Series.
A 3 Series that, as spec'd today, costs $58,000 Canadian, about $7,000 more than that Caddy. And this one doesn't even have the M Sport package. Advantage, Cadillac. Let's have at it. And if you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing about. So subscribe and hit the bell.
All right, the Cadillac CT5. Now, you can get this car in a rear-wheel drive sedan form, which right away is a big point for me over the 3 Series, because you used to be able to get a rear-wheel drive sedan from BMW, but unless you go up to the M cars, you can't get that now, and you can with this. But this one's all-wheel drive.
All right, 2020 3 Series. They've both got twin-scroll turbochargers, these cars. 2 litres, 4 cylinders, but this pumps out 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. From a 4-cylinder, that's pretty good, and it feels good as well. It doesn't sound great in comfort mode, you really have to move it to sport. It creates a bit of a synthetic sound. But it's deeper, and it sounds more sporting, if you can get over the artificialness of it.
So this has a 2-liter turbocharged engine, which makes 237 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. And right away, this is the biggest downside of this car, because the powertrain, the transmission, the engine, none of it is inspiring. It's dull and it's slow, and the transmission is not sharp. It's just, it's not quite there. But at a base price of under 40 grand, that makes sense. Up here though, above 50, it's not quite good enough. There is a sport mode and a manual mode and a snow and ice mode, but if you put it into manual and use the paddles, the shifts are, is the only word.
Now there's a reason we like this car so much, and that's not just because of the power output it gets from the 2-litre 4-cylinder. It's because of the way it does everything pretty much as well as you can do it at this price bracket. And as a favourite for Thomas, it's an all-wheel drive system that's rear-wheel drive bias.
Speaking of all-wheel drive, here's a comparison of the two systems. The BMW's is, as expected, rear-biased, which is great for fun and for traction. And the Cadillac's, thankfully, is also a rear-based all-wheel drive system, so it gets the power down too. It does make the turning circle a bit bigger than the rear-wheel drive version, though. Let's just say this thing doesn't exactly feel like a smart car in the parking lot.
This is on the Alpha chassis. And the Alpha chassis underpins the Camaro and the ATS of the previous generation. It's a very, very good chassis. We really like it. But the Camaro and the ATS were dynamically impressive. This one isn't really as much. It feels like they've left some room between this and the CT5V and potentially the top of the range CT5V Blackwing or whatever it's going to be called. But maybe they left too much room.
There's a great combination of things happening in this car. One thing it's missing, and I'm going to talk about this more in a bit, is the M Sport package, which I think is a must, and I'm feeling that now in the turns. It doesn't feel quite as tight, it hasn't got the M suspension, and the steering doesn't feel quite as sharp as it does with the dynamic package that comes with the M Sport. I would want it to be buttoned down a little bit more, but it's a comfortable ride. It's got a brilliant adaptive cruise control system that when you're under 60 kilometers an hour on the highway, it reads your eyes so you haven't got to use your hands. There's a lot of tech packed into this car, and comfort, and power, and capability. If I want to shift it manually, I've got no paddles because the M Sport also gives you that sport transmission. That M Sport, think of it as coming with the car. Don't get it without the M Sport. But even without the M Sport, in typical BMW fashion, everything about the powertrain just feels sharp. And the ZF gearbox, great. BMW made a comfortable, supremely capable car that hits 100 kilometers an hour in 5.6 seconds. I think it's like a second faster than the Caddy. It's a tough beat. Good luck, Caddy. I'm looking forward to driving it.
I know what they've done here. I don't think this is as much of a crime as some other people have said that it is. The steering is really, really nice. The body stays very flat in the corners. What it's lacking is that the stiffness and the precision that you might expect from one of these. But for everyday living, if you're getting the base car with a 2-liter 4-cylinder, you probably want it to be comfortable, and that's what it is. Because the ride is very good. Double glazed glass. It's very quiet in here. The seats are fantastic. The driving position is perfect. I can get almost too low. I like being in this car. But when it comes to luxury sports sedans, a huge part of the desirability is the way that they look on the inside and out. And honestly, I think the CT5 has nothing to worry about.
All right.
Oh, it's the Arctic out here.
What?
It's the Arctic out here.
This is ridiculous.
You know, promise me, next video we do, can we do it in California, please?
Yeah, I can make that happen.
Anyway, the good news is, this is still a 3 Series. This is still
What?
a 3 Series.
Yeah, it
It
is.
drives excellently.
This isn't nearly as bad as some people say, you know?
Don't spoil it for me.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to driving it. It looks brilliant, I think.
I think they did a really good job with the styling, yeah.
I have a few issues. These
Okay.
fake vents are
Yeah.
not so pretty.
No,
and then
they're-
this glass at the back here,
Yeah.
this fake window, doesn't match the glass on the window.
No, it's different glass.
No.
It's weird. Speaking of things that I don't like, there's too much chrome on this kidney grill.
You leave Brittany alone, all right? Yeah, the chrome with the M340i upgrades to that other look.
Yeah, but the upper M340i has the diamond things that I don't like. I prefer, you know what?
I'm getting in the car.
Screw it. Let's
Oh,
just, yeah.
God.
Those doors are light, weirdly light actually.
Yeah, compared to the Cadillac.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we've done this a lot. The 3 Series
Yes.
and BMWs, they're all very similar. I'm just going to go through the options this has because some of them are surprising and some of them are actually new.
Okay.
So we are so used to getting into vehicles that have the M Sport steering wheel.
Yeah, that's not the M Sport steering wheel.
So this wheel is completely different to anyone we've been in so
Okay,
far.
so maybe we're wrong about that. So I guess this is the base wheel.
This is-
I'm happy. I'm happy there's a base wheel.
Okay, but it comes at a price because
Okay.
the feel of the leather.
So you mean not a monetary price? You mean like the cost?
No, it does. It feels a bit Honda-y. So the leather on the M wheel is thick and plush.
Very hard.
The M Sport package, of which that's one of the elements,
Yeah.
is an absolute no-brainer. This car doesn't have it. For 2,000 Canadian dollars,
Yeah.
you get the steering wheel, the M Sport suspension, the M Aero, the dynamic steering,
For $2,000?
fog lights for $2,000.
Wow.
To not option this with the M Sport package would be insanity.
Okay.
Another bit of insanity is that there are 5 free options for the trim you can have in here.
And this one has
And
piano
this
black.
one is piano black. You can get an open pore wood
It's not
for
good.
no extra money.
Not good.
So that's an obvious one for me.
Okay.
Other than that, it's comfortable seats.
Seats are nice.
Nice leather.
It's well made, very solid. Like right
Everything-
now, BMW is leading the pack in terms of lack of creakiness.
With Audi, alongside Audi.
Audi is pretty solid, but
Yeah.
like I haven't seen the new A4 yet interior.
That's fair.
So I don't know yet, but this is really nice and solid. It's well done.
Yeah.
I don't like the gauge cluster. I don't like the infotainment. Apple CarPlay, does it work?
Yeah.
Okay, that's sarcasm. Let's look at the
That's
Cadillac.
not- All right.
Okay.
Cadillac.
Yes.
You know, the BMW has a lot of tech, so I'm curious to see if this can match up with it. Right, that has the 360 cameras, The electric charging.
Yeah, this does have a backup camera, but it's not the same quality as the BMW.
That looks pretty good though.
No, like it is, but it doesn't
God,
have
that
like the
screen is
crazy
huge.
3D tech. Yes. So this screen is fantastic. Cadillac or GM has this weird ability to not ever put a screen vertically.
No.
So on the Camaro, it's canted this way. On this one, it's canted back. So this is going to collect dust, but the screen is fantastic. I can control it with this wheel. It's a full-on touchscreen. Everything is really intuitive and quite fast.
Oh, nice.
I honestly don't mind it at all. I don't have a digital gauge cluster though.
What?
Yeah, which is nice because I don't like the digital gauge cluster in that.
Start-
Well, I mean, I got a big digital bit in the center here.
It looks fine. It honestly
Yeah,
looks alright.
It's fine. It's nice and sharp.
And we haven't got the cheap buttons that we had in the CT6V, right?
Correct.
Those,
This
like,
is actually very intuitive, very nice.
very nice. And the carbon fiber.
This is with carbon
The
fiber.
Bose. How's the Bose sound system?
It's nice. Like once you turn it up, it's very Bosey. I'll say that. The stitching is okay. Like I say, the materials aren't quite as good
I think
as
they
the
feel.
BMW.
I think they feel very similar.
They're similar, but like it's just like
Oh, yes,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the texture of the leather is just not. But it's still very nice.
Yeah, these are really comfortable
There's
seats.
no creaking. Oh, no, I take that back. There's a little creak there. The seats are nice, and the steering wheel is very, very nice. Nice and meaty, nice and fat with the perforated leather. It's heated,
Yeah.
right?
Nice big meaty steering.
It's
Like a bit of
heated.
girth.
All the,
What's going on here? Why is that coming off?
oh, that is. Check this out. That is your.
I
Phone,
can't see it, 'cause
Your
this-
phone holder. Well, you don't need to open this. I do.
Oh, wait, hold on. I can't see the whole compartment when this is open.
Okay, you make a good point. That's not really good.
That's
for the,
ridiculous.
That doesn't make much sense.
Hasn't
yes.
hasn't GM let you down before?
With armrests?
With armrests in the
Yeah,
Camaro?
the Camaro is ridiculous design. They somehow can't design an armrest.
What if I
don't
have to
know
pass you a beer while you're driving? Right?
Anyway, this is a phone
Well, a
holder,
non-alcoholic beer.
which is really cool.
A what? A phone holder?
Yeah, yeah. There's also a wireless charging pad right here. This has got all the packages, right?
Okay, so it does have that stuff.
It does, yeah. It's got all the nice tech. Honestly, though,
I would love to put this back in, but I can't
Okay,
see.
that's fair. That's a good point. Okay, it's going. I'll do it because I'm a nice guy.
No, I'm very, very comfortable in here. And we've got two sunroofs.
Two sunroofs. Well, one of them is smaller than yours, but there's the two.
Okay.
So that I don't
Just
know.
take the win.
Okay. If the CT5 Vs, whatever they are,
If the Blackwing comes out.
if the Blackwing comes out, if they really crank up the quality in here with some Alcantara and stuff, right? Like this could be a
I didn't
pretty
expect
nice place to be.
Yeah, but I didn't expect this to have carbon fiber. You'd have thought that'd be something they saved for the...
Is it have carbon fiber? I don't know. Not necessary. And I don't have much bad to say, honestly. And the back seats are quite spacious.
Yeah, are
Yep. Yeah.
they? Nice. I will try them.
Would you like to drive this?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, CT5. Oh no! Oh no! Not much happens when you put your foot down. Wow, that's a big difference to the 3 Series. Yeah, the powertrain is definitely lacking. The steering feels great though, typical GM fashion. They always nail the steering. Thomas is right. It's not quite sporty enough. This doesn't have that until you get to the CT5V. This to me feels like a template for something great to come. We've driven the CT6V. We know how good Cadillac can be at the moment. It feels like I've ordered a chicken wrap at a restaurant, but it's a lettuce wrap. And I want my tortilla.
All right. 330. Shifting with the stick because there's no paddles in this version, but that's immediately better and sharper and faster. It's more powerful. The power delivery is smoother. The way that it runs to the top of the rev range is definitely more satisfying. Very BMW. Even in the most basic version of their cars, they try and add a little bit to it. They're not as good at it as they used to be, but this is still good to drive. It is. In the corners, front end turns in a little bit tighter. Steering is about as good as the Cadillac. The Cadillac might actually be better, but the chassis control is superior. The bumps don't unsettle the car in any way. Feels like it has a shorter wheelbase, because it does. This is a good car. I like the 330. I would buy this one, please.
We brought out the 3 Series because we picked it against the A4 and the C-Class. It's a hard one to beat. And in this current form, in normal CT5 form, the 3 Series takes it. And I'm massively curious to try the CT5V because I have a feeling that it has the right driving dynamics. I love everything about the inside of this. Bring on the CT5V, because I'm curious.
Okay, conclusion. This is a very easy vehicle to drive every day, just like the Cadillac. The Cadillac is very quiet, it's very comfortable, it's very nice, but it's not inspiring to drive. And this is quiet, comfortable, and nice, and inspiring to drive. So it just automatically becomes the one that I naturally want. Cue the BMW fanboy comments. But the thing is that the Cadillac has so much potential, and you can feel that when you drive it, that I have a feeling that the CT5V would probably be a more exciting car than the BMW M340i. I'd like to explore that further.
The CT5 then feels like a template for greatness, but it needs another appointment with the whetstone. The 330, on the other hand, stands on its own among the 3 Series lineup, and far more so with the added M Sport package. So while the 330 takes this round, the jury's out on whether the M340i can be bested by the incoming CT5V. And hopefully, sometime soon, we're going to be talking M3 versus Blackwing. Thanks for watching.